circuit time. So we do a little circuit, 6 exercises, 30 seconds each. Nice and simple stuff, you've probably done it before. Done a squat before yet?
Yeah.
Feet shoulder width apart, sitting down over your heels there, pushing back up through your heels, keep your core on obviously. Just nice and easy, yeah?
Nice.
Push up, same as we did before. Arms on your shoulders, elbows in. Nice lower. Stop there. Back up. Rinse and repeat. All good. Step ups. Done them?
No.
Alright, cool. Stepping up one leg, keep the core on. We're going to get that wobble happening. Just try and keep that to a minimum. And just make sure you lower back down rather than dropping back down. And then we'll just switch legs. Do that on the other leg. Do med ball slams. Shoulder width apart again, same as your squat. Do a little baby squat. Med ball up. Slam the ball down. Pick her up. Again, you would kind of do that as one motion. Pick it up. Ex-girlfriend, boss, kill it. Whatever you need to do. Yeah, exactly. Jump squat. Again, that lovely little baby squat motion. And just landing both feet flat on the thing. You can step down, probably a little bit easier. Just rinse and repeat that one again. Try to keep that jump upwards, not too forward. Get that core on you. Easy? Hopefully. Hopefully. Alright, and stand this up. Done that a million times. Well, his feet nice and flat. Just have your arms out is fine. And just sitting up. And just make sure you kind of curl back down. Just lowering back down. No jerking there. You don't have to jerk them out. Just a nice, steady pace. Easy as?
There you go.
Alright. Alright, second time. Beginning with squats. 30 seconds, just trying to power them out at a reasonable pace. And let's go. Nice. Keep that core on. Just going to work the core, quads, glutes, get everything which is nice. Well done. Halfway through. Up and out. Push through the heels. Nice work. Beautiful. 4, 3, 2, 1. Straight into your push-ups. Arms nice and in, just under. Yep, beautiful. Core on, nice and straight. Just going to work your chest, your triceps, your lats. Great upper body exercise. Your power in there. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straight into step ups. Nice. Nice and steady. Beautiful. Just focus on lowering the side. Nice. And swap legs. Beautiful. Yep. It's going to get your glutes. It's going to get your thighs hopefully. Nice. And switch straight into med balls. Nice, straight through the floor. Keep that core on. Beautiful. Halfway through. Nice. Must hate that extra.
Work.
Work. That's fine. 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit back to your jump squats. Just going to work your power. Get those jumps for your tough bladder going using the ATP energy system. And that was under 10 seconds. Just getting that power going. Nice. Swim land in your feet, beautiful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch into your sit-ups. Nice. Slow control, good. Nice. Activation. Beautiful. Feet on the ground. Keep powering 15 more seconds. Almost there. Pump out the funnel. 10 seconds. 9. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Well done. Okay, for a client with high blood pressure, which would be blood pressure that's above 140 over 90, I would need to get clearance from their GP. And if they said yes, then they'd be cool to do exercise up to a moderate intensity for up to 5 days a week, no problems. Things I need to think about would be any medications that they're on. Obviously that would come in the letter from the GP, and that can affect the way that they can perform, especially under higher intensities. If they had a very high resting heart rate, probably approaching 100 beats per minute, then I would also need to be very careful of prescribing high intensity exercise. Things I'd want to avoid, isometric exercises, anything with a hold. I'd need to watch the client's breathing throughout. Again, anything high intensity, so probably wouldn't use high intensity interval training, things like that, or high intensity cardio. And I would also want to avoid potentially doing outdoor sessions in summer, for example, because their ability to handle heat would also be affected by either, again, medications or their general abilities. Modifications I would use in that program, I would increase the cool down times or the rest times between sets, especially during the circuit. I would not do that back to back anymore. I would have a rest time of at least 30 seconds between those exercises, and possibly reduce the time if they had very severe high blood pressure. I'd probably substitute the jump squats for walking lunges to reduce some of the intensity there, and the medicine ball slams, I would get them to use a lighter medicine ball and just watch get their feedback as to how they're going, and possibly reduce the intensity of that. Cardio exercises, they'd be fine to perform at 40 to 60% of their maximal heart rate, and I would progress that towards that higher end as the programs went on, and I would obviously regularly check that their blood pressure was lowering through that and their resting heart rate was lowering, so that they then can tolerate that extra load. So for a client with lower back pain, I would want to get clearance from their GP once again. I would also run some extensive fitness tests just to see where they're at with their range of motion, especially, and their overall core strength. I would avoid programming anything with twisting motions. I'd be looking for rounded back in any of their core stuff. Things like squats. I would avoid a back squat or a front squat, anything with loaded shoulders, or any intense isometric holds, although I'd probably try and progress to some say plank exercises, for example, to strengthen that core, but not necessarily to start with. Modifications that I would make to the program we just did, I would probably remove the weighted lunge and just have a standard lunge in there, especially at the beginning. Push-ups possibly to knees if they had quite severe pains. Again, getting rid of the jump squats, probably for the walking lunge, just to get that core, get that upright. Stance, the sit-ups I would modify to just hands to knees rather than sitting all the way up. Just to avoid again any overextension. Treadmill I'd probably remove and maybe put the recumbent bike in there, just to prevent any jolting and things like that, especially if they have weak glutes. The stretching, I wouldn't use the two-legged hamstring stretch. I'd probably switch that out for single leg stretches either side, and go for a 3-set system, 10 seconds hold for each of those. And then I would add other stretches in there obviously as well. As I said before, like progression wise, I'd have that focus on core strength, glute strength. For a client with a knee injury, I would again be doing extensive fitness testing to ascertain their range of motion and overall strength in the joints. And I would potentially then refer to allied health, i.e. a physiotherapist, to gain some clearance, or their GP, if I thought it was severe enough or they were experiencing pain during that. Having the knee injury could cause instability, lack of balance, so we would need to avoid certain exercises, stuff such as very deep squats or lunges. We would need to watch the knees going over the toes at any point, like with anyone of course. Isometric wall sits I'd probably stay away from. Any excessive weight, big leg press, again squats, stuff like that, and probably avoid. Any running, sprinting or jumping at high intensities, I would also avoid for someone with a knee injury. In terms of the program that we just did, I would again substitute out the jump squats for a lunge, but I'd have the client step backwards into that lunge, just to keep the pressure off that knee going over the toe. The step up I'd have on a much lower step, so we're still getting that stability training for the knee, but not as severe. The weighted lunge I do as a body weight lunge to start, and then progress that as they progressed, as the strength in the knee progressed. And the treadmill, I probably wouldn't have that in there, and I'd switch that for the recumbent bike or possibly spin bike, whatever the client preferred.